There was a very in-depth article that came out today from Jason Lloyd of The Athletic about Deshaun Watson this past year and everything kind of leading up to this point. So I went ahead and screenshotted some of the important notes, so let's get into it. First off, this goes in detail talking about how Kevin Stefanski showed Watson his offense, and Watson was so down for it when they were originally meeting before we even traded for them. And Watson really never embraced Kevin Stefanski's offense, wanted more of a shotgun-style scheme, and we saw that throughout the years. The Browns were fine trying to adapt to what Watson's good at, so they even tried giving Watson what he wanted, firing offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, bringing in Ken Dorsey, who's had more experience with mobile quarterbacks, and obviously that didn't work. And as a result of Alex Van Pelt firing, that might have also been a reason Callahan left. Bill Callahan, our offensive line coach that made our offensive line really good, which took a big step back this year with Andy Dickerson as the O-line coach, because Callahan would have stayed had Van Pelt remained on the staff, according to some of the players. And remember, this all has to do with trying to satisfy Watson and get him comfortable in our system. And then right here, we all saw the same things. One player said, we all watched the film, guys are open. This is in response to just every single game that Deshaun Watson played. He was leaving guys wide open, not throwing the ball, but this is more in particular talking about the Dallas game, or the game where Jordan Akins was in the flat and Watson said it was a decoy route when it certainly was not. And according to multiple players, Kevin Stefanski wouldn't criticize Watson in front of the team during film, but as soon as Jameis Winston replaced Watson, he started pointing out quarterback mistakes again. Which, by the way, I'm not a huge fan of that. Kevin Stefanski should have been pointing out Watson's mistakes from the beginning. If that's true, that should never have happened, where he was just blatantly ignoring them. And with Watson in the building all these years, players apparently said that there was a heaviness surrounding him in the locker room, and they felt it. And as soon as he tore his Achilles in October, a couple of the veterans said that they felt a cloud had been lifted. And I think a lot of his fans felt this way too. He wasn't good enough. And there were so many other issues surrounding him that are still surrounding him right now that it just gives this eerie, cloudy feeling. And then lastly, this goes on to say the Browns had privately made clear that they were moving on from Deshaun Watson even before he re-injured his Achilles. Which is news we wanted to hear, because I think it was very clear that we needed to move on from him a while ago. And at least the Browns front office is competent enough to understand that. So there's a lot more stuff in that article that I could have screenshotted, could have went over. But that was the big stuff for me. And it just has always seemed that there has been something wrong in the Deshaun Watson era. The Browns know it now. They know they're going to go after a quarterback this coming year in this draft, whether it's in the first round, second round, third round, whatever. But it's time to move on from Deshaun Watson.